class.
Okay, all right. We are currently celebrating the 8th day of the feast. We want to just give a brief lesson and deal with some of the significances of the day. We want to go ahead and begin with the scripture here. Pull up Leviticus 23. Let's see here if I can get it up on the screen here. Let's look at verses 33 through 36.
Okay.
Let me just scroll up here. 33 through 36.
Leviticus 23:33. And Yah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, On the 15th day of the 7th new moon is the festival of Sukkot, for 7 days to Yah. On the first day it is set apart gathering. You do no servile work. For 7 days you bring an offering made by fire to Yah. On the 8th day there shall be a set apart gathering for you, and you shall bring an offering made by fire to Yah. It is a closing festival. You do no servile work.
Okay, very good. On the 8th day, that's right now, we are having our set apart gathering as this closing festival. It's an interesting day. This is this 8th day, because when we think about Sukkot. When we think about the feast of Sukkot, we're dealing with a 7-day feast. And then we have this 8th day that's added, right? It's kind of mysterious, this thing, because Sukkot, again, is this festival that is 7 days. Then we have this 8th day that's not really called anything. It's not Sukkot because Sukkot is 7 days. But we have this day that is the 8th day. It's this continuation of the 7-day festival. And so when we think about Sukkot is obviously dealing with the wilderness, right? Sukkot's about dwelling in booths, right? We've experienced that to the fullness at this point. In our tents, we was in some tents. It was Sukkoting. We can also think about Sukkot as the great marriage supper, right? Which also is something that is 7 days. When Yeshua talks about going and preparing a place and coming back for his bride to actually come and dwell with his people, right? We think about that in terms of Sukkot and Yeshua actually Sukkoting with us. But what then is the 8th day then? 8 is obviously after 7, right? So whatever 7 is, 8 is after. So you have to experience the one. You have to experience the one to get whatever it is that comes after. Right? Israel never gets to the promised land without the whole wilderness experience. Right? If they wasn't in the wilderness is the way that they get to the promise. Right? So this can't be about theories, right? It has to actually be about living this life according to the commands of the Most High, and then receiving that which comes after. Right? When we think about 8 in the scope of things, if a complete cycle is 7, 8 is connected, but it's also something that's new, right? 8 is also 1, right? It's the renewal of a new cycle, but it's the continuation of the old cycle, right? And so we have to be able to, if we want to experience the fullness of, what the significance of this 8th day is, if we want to make it to the great eternal 8th day, we have to be able to experience Yeshua. We have to be able to have a relationship with the Master. And so let's look over at, let me pull up Isaiah chapter 12. I'm not even going to talk that long. I'm going to talk for a little bit. Let's read Isaiah chapter 12. Let's just read a little bit at a time. Let's read that first verse.
Okay. And in that day you shall say, I thank you, Yah. Though you were enraged with me, your displeasure has turned back, and you have comforted me.
Okay, very good. So we see over here, when we're looking at this verse 1, we see there's a process to be seen over here with this. There's a process. When we look over here and see that it begins, it says, I thank you, Yahweh, though you were enraged with me. We were in at odds with the Most High. Right? But we're able to get to the place where the displeasure of the Most High was turned away from us, and now we're able to get to the place of actually being comforted by the Almighty. And so when we talk about the idea of being comforted by the Almighty, we're dealing with experiencing Him in a relationship. It's not about something that someone had said. It's about you actually experiencing it firsthand. And so again, we think about this whole eighth day situation, this thing that comes after the wilderness experience, the promised land experience, eternity, everlasting life. The way that we make it to that place is having a real relationship with Messiah and experiencing Him to the fullest. To the fullest. Let's see verse 2 and 3.
CL is my deliverance. I trust and not afraid. For Yahweh is my strength and my song. He has become my deliverance. And you shall draw water with joy from the fountains of deliverance.
Okay, very good. So when we think about this, this here is a proclamation. It's a proclamation that the Most High is our deliverer. He said, I trust and am not afraid. And so again, when we talk about the idea of trusting in the Most High, this is a thing that is a present thing. It's something that we must be able to actually do. I can't go off of somebody else's trust, right? What's somebody else's faith or steadfastness does nothing for me. I have to be able to trust in the Most High in and through every situation. And so again, we think about the wilderness experience, right? Where the Most High literally tests and tries His people, causing us to actually go through the wilderness, causing us to have various trials and tribulations, so that we're able to be refined as a people. We can't get to the place of not being afraid unless we're in situations where fear is a natural situation. How do you know if how are you able to trust in the Most High and not be afraid if no type of adversity or anything comes to you? I mean, you can say that you are able to trust in the Most High. You can say that you're able to trust in the safety that He provides. But if there's never any danger, if there's never any things that go on that cause you to have to lean on the everlasting arms of the Most High, how do you know? How do you know that the Most High is your strength? How do you know it? You have to go through things with the Most High. You have to look at this. You have to be able to trust in the Most High as you're going through things to even know that he is your strength. And this is experience based. This is relationship based. I can tell you how this thing happened to me and what I had to do while I was going through it. But that doesn't do anything for you except for potentially cause you to know that somebody else did it whenever it comes time for you to do it. But it has to be about you having a actual experience for yourself, where you're able to say that he has indeed become my deliverance. That verse 2 right there, he says he has become my Yeshua. Right here, that's what that word is, Yeshua. Okay. What's this here? I might put in the verses. Let's see what this says. Hebrews 12:6. What does it say? For whom the master loves, he chastises and scourgeth every son whom he receives. Exactly. So that's about experiencing it. If you not getting no scourging, sounds rough, scourging. If you're not getting no scourging though, all this is for you is just theory. But when we think about this whole thing again with this 8th day, the 8th day, that's the end. The 8th day, that is everlasting. And so you got to get through the whole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in order to get to the 8. You're never going to get to the 8 if you haven't got through the wilderness.
Yeah.
Verse 3 said, and you shall draw water with joy from the foundations of deliverance. Again, if I've never experienced his deliverance, what is I'm talking about if it's talking about drawing water with joy? Like if I've never experienced the joy of the fountains of deliverance, right? I don't know about this verse number 3 over here. Here, let's look over in John chapter 7. Because Yeshua talks about drawing water. Also, we'll come back to it. 7:37 through 39.
And on the last day, the great day of the festival, Yeshua stood and cried out, saying, if anyone thirsts, let him come to me, and let him who believes in me drink. As the scripture saith, out of his innermost shall flow rivers of living water. And he said, this he said, concerning the Spirit, which those believe in him were about to receive, for the set apart Spirit was not yet given, because Yeshua was not yet esteemed.
Okay, he said, him who believes in me drink. So when you have a full-fledged trust in Yeshua, you drink with joy the waters from the fountains of deliverance, which is Yeshua. And then out of your innermost parts shall flow rivers of living water, as a result of you trusting in Yeshua and drinking the water that he has provided for you. Not till you taste and see that he is indeed good are you able to experience the joy from the fountains of deliverance. Right? Not till you actually taste the waters. You know, we know a lot of people who put their foot in the water, you know, stuck their little foot around a little in it. But you got to taste the waters. You got to drink it. Right? Not sipping it either. Like you like guzzling this thing. Because when you playing around with it, right, you're not really experiencing the thing. It's funny. I think about how some of these little kids do whenever they like trying to take their little medicines. How their lips is kind of like tight, and don't let the little medicine even get in the mouth hardly. That's not drinking over here, right? Let him who believes in me, it says, drink. And this is what it takes. This is what is necessary for you to be able to be in, you know, what this 8th day represents, which is eternity. You're not gonna make it to eternity if you never don't drink Messiah. Let's look over here at let's go back to Isaiah. Back to Isaiah. Let's see. Let's go from. Let's finish that at 4 through 6.
Says, and in that day you shall say, praise Yahweh, call upon his name, make known his deeds among the peoples, make mention that his name is exalted. Sing to Yahweh, for he has done excellently. This is known in all the earth. Cry aloud and shout, O inhabitant of Zion. For great is the set apart one of Israel in your midst.
See, something happens once you draw from this water from the fountains of deliverance. It said, in that day you shall praise Yahweh. In that day you'll call upon his name and make known his deeds among the peoples. You're going to let the peoples know what happened to you. You're going to let the people know that this water that you drew is pretty good. It says make known his deeds among the peoples, and make mention that his name is exalted. There's a result over here now, right? From you experiencing his goodness. There's a transformation that happens in you that causes you to not only be changed, but now you are telling people about it. They looking at you and knowing that you have been changed because you tasted of this fountains of deliverance. People are seeing that you went through the wilderness and you came out different from how you went in. Right? When we look at Israel, Israel went into the wilderness one way and they came out of the wilderness a whole other way. For the better. And so, again, when we think about this whole thing with this 8th day of the feast, this is the destination. We got to get to the destination. We got to go through the wilderness. And we got to experience the wilderness. Like, we go to Sukkot. We're just practicing. It's just practice. Right? But the practice is a picture of our life. Let's look at 2 Corinthians. Read 3 through 7.
2 Corinthians chapter 3.
Chapter 1, verse 3.
Verse 3. Okay. Blessed be to Elohim and the Father of our Master Yeshua Messiah, the Father of compassion and Elohim of all comfort, who is comforting us in all our pressure, enabling us to comfort those who are at every pressure through the comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by Elohim. Because as the sufferings of Messiah overflow in us, so our comfort also overflows through Messiah. And if we suffer pressure, it is for your comfort and deliverance being worked out in enduring the same sufferings which we also suffer. If we are comforted, it is for your comfort and deliverance. And our expectation for you is steadfast, because we know that as you are sharing in the sufferings, so also in the comfort.
Okay, very good. So how you gonna sit up here and try to help somebody and you never even was helped by the master? It's just all theoretical for you. It's just a theory. But theories got to be tested. And so when you go through the wilderness, like, I don't want to hear from nobody who ain't been in the wilderness. I need somebody with some experience to come and to talk to me about something. How you gonna talk to me about something that you never even been through it before? Huh? You got nothing for me. But this over here said, blessed be the Elohim the Father of our Master Yeshua, who is comforting us in all our pressure, enabling us to comfort those who are in every pressure. We got to we have to experience Messiah's comfort so that we're able to help other people experience Yeshua's comforting. We have to be in this whole wilderness experience. The wilderness experience to get to the 8th day experience. We have to experience Messiah so that we're able to help others to experience Messiah, so that we can all make it to that 8th day, to everlasting. But it can't just be about the theoretical stuff. It got to eventually get to the practical application of these things. So this 8th day, right? It's a continuation. It's a continuation, and it's a new beginning. And it's also the finish line. It's the finish line. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 9. 1 Corinthians chapter 9. 20 verse 24.
It says, "Do you not know that those who run in a race indeed all run, but one receives the prize? Run in such a way as to obtain it."
He said somebody's supposed to be winning this race, but that someone supposed to be you though. You run. Ain't nobody getting in the race just to say they was in the race. Not this race. This race ain't like that great race that you was in. Oh, this was just something bigger than myself. I just was part of something bigger than myself.
Maybe it is for some people.
Nuh-uh. Them people ain't worthy. You need to be trying to, he said, run in such a way as to obtain it. Yeah. You're supposed to be, you want to win. You want to win this race. This is not just GP. General purposes. You just not in this thing just to say that you was in it. Oh yeah, I ran in that race. I was in that race. Mm-hmm.
No participation.
No participation prizes in this thing over here. He said, run in such a way as to obtain it. The prize. Winning the race. So this is about the process. It's about going through the wilderness. It's about allowing the Most High to take what He don't want off of you in the wilderness. To try you in the wilderness. To put you in uncomfortable situations in the wilderness where you can't do nothing else but just to trust in the Most High and the strength that He provides. That's how you able to say that He is your strength, because it took the strength that you received from Him to even go. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
You didn't read down to 26, but I'm curious because hopefully it's still on topic.
What you want to go up? And read
No,
something?
down to 26. So we read 24.
What verses you want to read? You could read them ones too.
Want me to read it?
No, I'm saying which ones did you want to highlight?
Oh, not 1 Corinthians 9:25 and 26.
Oh, 25 and 26.
Yes.
What that say in 26?
And everyone who competes controls himself in every way. Now they do it to receive an incorruptible crown, but we for an incorruptible crown. Therefore I run accordingly, not with uncertainty. Thus I fight, not as one who beats the air.
And 27, you might as well read too.
But I treat my body severely and make it my slave, least having cling to others, I myself might be rejected.
Okay, very good. So when we see over here, this is telling you what's involved in running the race. Things like self-control. Everyone who competes controls himself in every way. You're not just out here just doing all types of things unruly and such. These people who run these races to win this little trophy or this little the little crown. Like, it's interesting that they talk about this little, he has this little Roman kind of thought process where they had the little crown that's made out of yeah. They're doing all this thing for this little crown thing that's going to be dead in like a day or something. But they doing a lot of work to receive that crown. This corruptible crown. But the crown that we receive is incorruptible, and so how much more so should our running be? How much more so should our competing be for this incorruptible crown? This thing that's going to actually last forever, the 8th day. Therefore, he said, I run not with uncertainty. He's just not out here shadow boxing. There's an actual opponent. And the opponent actually is your body. That you conquer and rule over. And make it my slave. That's what he said. Make it my slave. But this is all part of your wilderness experience. This is all part of you running this race in such a way as to obtain the prize. This is the way that you make it to this finish line, this 8th day. All right, let's go over to Mark 13. Mark 13. And 13.
It says that you shall be hated by all because of my name, but he who shall have endured to the end, he shall be saved.
It's going to be some people that can't even stand you no more because of Yeshua's name. But he said, he who shall have endured to the end, that's the ones who shall be saved. This thing takes endurance. But at the end of all this endurance is the 8th day, is everlasting life. Let's go back in Mark. Let's see here in Mark chapter 4, 16 and 17. Let's look at that.
And likewise, these are the ones sown on rocky places who, when they hear the word, immediately receive it with joy, and they have no root in themselves, but are short-lived. Then the pressure or persecution arises because of the word. Immediately they stumble.
Okay, and so now this talks about that seed being sowed in these rocky places where no roots are able to grow, and then there's no endurance. These people over here, they received immediately this word with joy. They started to sit up here and taste of the goodness, but they didn't allow any roots to grow because they was on this rocky ground. And so when we think about these rocky ground and think about this race that has to be won, that is won by self-control and the denial of your carnality. When we think about rocky places, we think about stony hearts. When you hear this wonderful message, all of the things that Yeshua is able to do in and for you, it sounds magnificent. Theoretically, it's great. But unless that word gets down on the inside of you and takes root, it's going to be just like this seed that falls on these rocky places and no root, and it's going to be short-lived, and you never gonna make it out of the wilderness.
It's interesting too because like when you first come into this walk, you do get like little jabs. Like once you're in it for a while and you have that experience, when a little jab comes someone's way, it looks big to them because they've never experienced.
What you mean? What you mean, little jabs?
Like it's little. It's a small amount of pressure or persecution that this person might get, and as soon as they get it, like it's saying, they immediately stumble, they fall over. But when you look at it from the outside, I'm like, it's just a little, like this is just a little trial. This is just your what do they call when you come into a Greek? This is like your little hazing period. You just got to get through this, but it's big for some people. But it's really little, and I feel like the Most High gives you these little things to build you up to the big things, but people can't get to the big stuff because they think those are all big to them when they first come in.
Everything is big.
Just everything's a big deal.
Yeah.
It takes experience to know that it's small.
I mean, for me, every night of tensing was a big deal. I didn't know if I was gonna make it to the next night. This year.
But you literally was gonna make it though. And you actually did in reality. You made it. And it's like that. Yeah. And so, that's why it's important to, have, Israel's a nation. Israel's a nation. And so it takes people who've been through their one-time small things to help other people to get through their small things. And sometimes you're not able to always see the stones in your garden. Sometimes you gotta dig up the earth a little bit in order to ensure that there's no things in there that's going to impede in the growth of that which is sown. What's this? What are these people saying over here? Yes, like people you love and trust tell you that you're in a cult and pressure you and put out into your. It's a
Doubt. You would say doubt.
Oh, doubt. Yes. I mean, because it's hard. It's hard. But the word tells you that people, you're going to be hated. You're going to be hated. That's what he said, for his name's sake. But I know for a matter of fact that I do not want to look like the world. And so if the thing that I'm doing looks normal to you, then I question what I'm doing then. Because he said that we are a peculiar people. Peculiar. Not regular old people. Right? You absolutely have to be willing to lose it all so that you're able to gain it all. And you lose it all in the wilderness so that you can make it to the 8th day. All right, let's look over at Revelation. Revelation 19. Revelation 19, 6 through 9.
And I heard as the voice of a great crowd, as the sound of many waters, and as the sound of mighty thunder, saying, Hallelujah, for Yahweh El Shaddai reigns. Let us be glad and rejoice, and give him praise, for the marriage of the Lamb has come, and his wife prepared herself. And to her it was given to be dressed in fine linen, clean and bright, for the fine linen was the righteousness of the set apart ones. And he said to me, Right, blessed are those who have been called to the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he said to me, These are the true words of Elohim.
Okay, very good. So we see over here talking about this marriage of the Lamb, and his wife prepared herself already. Like she already did it already. And his wife prepared herself previously. Went through all of the things. Right? With this fine linen, which is the righteousness of the set apart ones. Right? You literally are putting on the righteousness of Messiah and walking in that said righteousness. Okay? You literally, and by the way, by putting on righteousness, you're putting off unrighteousness. Right? These two things are simultaneous with each other. Right? I can't put righteousness on top of unrighteousness. I got to take the unrighteousness off in order to get the righteousness on. And to her is given to be dressed in fine linen, clean and bright. Again, all of this is about a relationship with Yeshua. Intimacy with the Master. Putting on the righteousness of Elohim, which is Yeshua, so that we're able to endure, so that we're able to cause for our carnal mind and our carnal appetites to not rule and reign over us, but for us to rather rule and reign over our carnal mind, bringing it into subjection. All of these things is what needs to be done so that we're able to make it to the 8th day. 8th day is eternity. 8th day is the finish line. 8th day, there's nothing else after that. You got to already have went through all of the things to get you over into that place. And that's going through the wilderness process, the transformative process, the process that causes you to be somebody who declares the righteousness. The deliverance of Messiah into the world. And this can't be about what it is that Yeshua did for this one or that one. But it has to be about what Yeshua has done for you. I'm looking at one more thing over here. I don't even want to talk about this. Revelation 21, 1 through 8.
And I saw a renewed heaven and a renewed earth, for the former heaven and the former earth has passed away, and the sea is no more. And I, Jonathan, saw the set apart city, renewed Jerusalem, coming down out of the heaven from Elohim, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the heaven saying, See, the booth of Elohim is with men, and he shall dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and Elohim himself shall be with them, and be their Elohim. And Elohim shall wipe away every tear from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, nor mourning, nor crying, and there shall be no more pain, for the former matters have passed away. And he who was sitting on the throne said, See, I make all matters new. And he said to me, Write, for these words are true and trustworthy. And he said to me, It is done. I am the Alpha and the Tav, the beginning and the end. To the one who thirsts, I shall give of the fountain of the water of life without payment. The one who overcomes shall inherit all this, and I shall be his Elohim, and he shall be my son. But as for the cowardly and untrustworthy and abominable and murderers and those who whore and drug, sorcerers and idolaters and all the false, their part is in the lake which burns with fire and sulfur, which is the second death.
He said, but as for the cowardly, if you not walking in through this wilderness and letting the Most High change and transform you, he said, you's a coward. You a coward, he said. Untrustworthy. I can't even trust in you. Nothing that you say is true. You just false. All the false. So when we have these people who want to come around and say this or say that, that's why it don't faze me. It can't faze me. Because they some cowards, them people. They don't trust. They're untrustworthy cowards, is what they are. He said, for these words are true and trustworthy. I want to be with the one that's true and trustworthy, not untrustworthy with a bunch of cowards. It's cracking me up too. I want to just see what this word means in the Greek. Like, the word is cracking me up too. Like, oh, fearful is what the King James says. Fearful, timid, dread, faithless, fearful. They're faithless and full of fear.
The scary.
Scary. But see, so when we think about, again, going through this wilderness, we think about going through this wilderness and making it to this place, this 8th day. You know, it's to get this cowardice up out of us. It was cowards in the wilderness who was like, man, I just want to go back. I want to go back. I can't be out here. It's scary out here. How am I supposed to eat? What am I supposed to drink? I can't be out here. I'd rather just be a slave. You brought me out here to die. Cowards. Untrustworthy. Abominable. All of these things, all these people gonna burn. It said, with fire and sulfur. All these people gonna experience the second death because they was never able to truly experience that wilderness experience and make it over into that new beginning, that 8th day. I know for a matter of fact that I don't want to be those people right there. I want to be these people up on top of it. this new Jerusalem coming down. I want to be them people, just prepared as a bride adorned for a husband. People over here. I want to be the ones who's experiencing this renewed heaven and this renewed earth that's transformed and have all of my worries and things passed away. And the only way that I'm able to experience this 8th day experience, the thing that we exemplify in this 8th day, is allowing for the wilderness experience to be manifest inside of me, where I'm able to be changed and transformed by the power of the Ruach HaKodesh, and experiencing a authentic change as a result of my relationship with Yeshua HaMashiach. I must make it to the finish line. I must win the prize. I must win the race. I must endure to the end. And if I'm going to do that, I have to make it into the practical application of this word. I can't just be a hearer of this word. I must be a doer of this word. I must allow the words of Yeshua to be embedded in my heart and transform me from the inside out, changing me, taking away all of these things that are inside of me that are not like the Father, and changing me into the very image of Yeshua. If I want to see that 8th day, that's what has to happen in me and you. And so, we think about this 8th day, the significance is most certainly deals with eternity. And again, this is what the Most High wants for all of his people, is to make it to the place where he dwells. He wants for us to be where he dwells, and he wants to dwell with us. But we got to make it there, and we can't allow for this life to cause us to teeter to the left or to the right. But we have to be able to remain steadfast on this journey and make it through the wilderness and get to the other side. Okay? All right, so that being said, somebody have any thoughts, questions, comments before we bring this to an end? Over here. Okay, all right then. So, that being said, we are going to be done for now. God willing, we will be back on Shabbat forget to share the video, subscribe to the channel, like the video. What else? Hit the notification button.
Yeah. Like,
All
share,
of the things. Okay, all right, so that being said, we'll say for now, shalom. We'll be back on Shabbat.
No.